Last time we saw the man standing beside me, he was viciously attacking one of my best friends, Charlie Dreamer, with a chair. George, I thought you lost that matchup. I thought you should be retired.
You know, there's a few things that happen in life that you never get over. You know, it may be my beautiful son being born. You know, it may be the sunrise on a beautiful Sunday morning. And it may be your best friend in professional wrestling turning his back on Mr. Number One and the second greatest book ever written. You know, I know, all those great people out there know that Charlie Dreamer broke my heart. Charlie Dreamer took everything that I had give him, those long nights in my training center, and he throwed it right up in my face. So Charlie Dreamer, I'm not finished with him. It's like a son that thinks he knows more and better than his dad, but he don't. So you and everybody else that loves Charlie Dreamer is gone. Charlie Dreamer has disappeared, and I've heard through the grapevine that he has tried the boots on one more time. We all know that Charlie Dreamer has a beautiful family, and he's got a beautiful son. So my advice to Charlie Dreamer and to you and everybody else, stay where you're at, Charlie Dreamer. Yes, I'll move on. It's like a heartbreak that you never get over. Yes, I love Charlie Dreamer. I still love him. I'll never turn my back on one of my sons. But what you saw and I saw that night needed to be done. It needed to be done so I can move on. Charlie's got a beautiful family living in Texas, a beautiful son. And he left me here to travel the roads. Nothing but an old Journey CD. He left me to travel the roads. So Charlie, I'll hold the fort down, my buddy, my son, I'll hold the fort down. But just stay away, Charlie. Just stay away. And you know, this second greatest book, I am so proud of it. The one thing Charlie Dreamer didn't take from me, he took my pride. He took my heartache as a dad, but he cannot take the second greatest book ever written from me. My dream is to put it on every coffee table in America, and I'm almost there. I'm almost there. So Charlie, listen to me, son. I love you with all my heart, but stay away. Everybody says, when's Charlie Dreamer coming back? Charlie Dreamer ain't coming back. The legend, stay in Texas. That's all it is. Tell him to stay away. You know him, he's your best friend. Charlie, listen. That was probably my time. I've been knocked out by Warrior. I've been knocked out by Hogan. The Road Warriors, all of them. Ric Flair. I took him 30 minutes on TBS. But the heartbreak was when Charlie Dreamer turned his back on me and all of those fans that love him. So fans, you got to move on. I had to. He broke your heart just like he did mine. So Charlie, goodbye forever.
Folks, he's coming up next, and he's got a match against Rob McBride.
The training of these poor creatures to turn themselves into fighting machines is simply barbaric. Barbaric. Barbaric.
Welcome to Midnight Mayhem. Some interesting wrestling going on tonight. We have got Mr. Number One, George South, a man we haven't seen in a while, and Boogie Woogie Rob McBride, a man who we've never seen on the show. And what did he just do to Mr. Number One, George South? I think he just said that George South is low 2 quarts of oil.
It's always good of Boogie Woogie to check these things for you, especially tonight on Midnight Mayhem.
Folks, I guess you're going to have to maybe get a 10W40, a 10-weight oil to make Mr. Number One George South finish this matchup. He might need to get those tires rotated as well. Rob McBride, George South. 2 men, very old school professional wrestling going on that we're going to see in this matchup. George South, the last time we saw him was taking on Charlie Dreamer in a career versus career match. We have not seen Charlie Dreamer ever since that matchup. It was one of the most fantastic matches we've ever had on our show. It was a very good, classic, old-school match. And here we've got McBride and George South. You know the McBride, George South, they're not going to be doing flips. They're not going to be doing kicks. They are going to be doing professional wrestling moves.
And that is what you came to see, a classic man versus man battle.
Look at McBride just hammering down on the shoulder of George South. George South is very concerned with getting a rise out of those fans. He is not caring too much about this matchup right now. Actually, he's going straight back to the wrist of McBride, and it looked like he pulled McBride down by those long locks.
Definitely. And, you know, the fans are really important when it comes to matches like this, because if they get behind you, they kind of give you that extra push when you need it.
McBride looks like he needs all that push he can get right now because George South is still working on that wrist and shoulder of him.
Definitely. And this, like you said, classic match. We got Boogie Woogie and Mr. Number One. So you know that is going to be a good time.
Well, I mean, Mr. Number One, think about the history with George South. George South has wrestled all over the world. George South has wrestled with the likes of Ricky Steamboat. He's wrestled with Ric Flair. In fact, George South was the man who trained Ricky Steamboat's son. If you want to know some history, Keith, you talk to that man. That man knows everything about professional wrestling, and he has seen it all.
You can see it in his eyes. He's seen some things, I think is what you're trying to tell me right now. And I've seen Boogie Woogie wrestle before, and he is a man in which to be reckoned with.
He's a lot of fun, too, Keith. He is a fun man to talk to. He's a fun man. I don't know if I can understand a word that comes out of his mouth because it sounds a lot like, hey, baby, all right, baby. And that's a lot of fun. He's a very interesting character.
And, well, he may be an interesting character, but right now I bet he's worried about Mr. George South and what he's doing to his arm.
George South may be trying to hide something behind his back. I'm not sure what's going on there. Folks, you are watching episode 98 of Midnight Mayhem. 98 episodes. You have been here since episode 1. I know people like Wallace Rogers has watched since episode 1, and that's why we made him our webmaster. But let me tell you, on June 14th, we will have an hour-long 100th episode. That's amazing. The people at WWMB, WPDE are giving us 1 full hour of mayhem. And that's going to cap off a weekend of mayhem, Keith. On June 13th, I am going to be co-hosting Carolina and Company Live with the one, the only, Cecil Chandler.
You don't say. So let's get this straight. You got 60 minutes on your 100th episode, and you're going to be on Carolina and Company. What are you going to call this amalgam of wrestling?
The Weekend of Mayhem.
All right, I like it. It's got a nice ring to it, the Weekend of Mayhem.
Now, I've been making some calls for Carolina and Company Live. We are having a man episode, a man show, if you will. And we are going to have 30 minutes of manly things. In honor of Father's Day weekend, we're going to have beer, guns, and, of course, professional wrestling on Carolina and Company Live. I'm very excited about it. These people are all going to be tuning in. And George South, I'm not sure if he's going to be watching, but I'm sure Rob McBride would be. Because Rob McBride is a true man in that ring.
Definitely. I don't think George South needs to watch your episode. He should, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't need to justify his manliness, if you will.
George South taking it to Rob McBride. Looked like a close-handed fist to the face of Rob McBride, and we all know that's illegal. George South doesn't care. George South bends the rules as he sees fit. McBride trying to get those great fans behind him. George trying to calm those fans down a little bit. But here we go. George South getting a blow to the midsection by McBride. McBride getting a hit to the chin. It looked like George South was able to move and not get in that maneuver right there.
He's got a lot of agility for his age. I'm not saying, he's old. Heaven forbid if he ever heard me say that, he'd come after me, and I don't want that. But he's rather limber.
The man knows all the tricks in the book. And look at this. And George South has got he has taken the tape off his wrist, and he was using it to choke McBride.
Now that's definitely illegal. I don't know too many things about wrestling, but I know for a fact that is illegal.
McBride shaking like Apollo Creed in Rocky IV, and George South is going straight back to McBride, and it looks like he is going to, he's using that foreign object once again.
Well, you got to give it up for the ref here, because heaven knows if I was in there and he was doing something illegal, I'd like to represent the rules, but what are you going to do? It's George South.
George says, I'm not doing anything wrong. That tape just fell off on its own. It looks like it's in his back pocket almost. Rob McBride still trying to get up. George South trying to explain his case right here. He's saying that the fans did it. It wasn't me. And there he goes. He's pulling it out again, and he is going straight back to choking Rob McBride. Now the ref, if the ref can't see this, it's that damn beard right there that is blocking it.
There is a whole lot of, I would say that's a good 1.5 feet of beard right there. So any object that goes to his neck is going to be hidden by the camouflage of manly scruff that he has.
George South, he's trying to tell them he's not putting it in his back pocket. Not that his trunks have pockets, but he is trying to tell everybody that you were not seeing what you just saw.
He's a man of illusions, is what I'm thinking he's getting from he's trying to tell the crowd now.
Looks like he's going right back to the neck of Rob McBride. McBride still getting choked. Folks, if you want to find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Midnight Mayhem CW21, you can watch all 98 previous episodes of Midnight Mayhem. Or is that 97? 97 previous episodes of Midnight Mayhem. This would be episode 98. And in a couple weeks, we'll have the full 1 hour episode up, I'm sure.
Which is going to be exciting. 60 minutes of nonstop wrestling. Plus, on Friday, June 13th, we're going to have Caroline and Company, 30 minutes of man. So tune in for the weekend of mayhem.
George South trying to get those audience members. He's trying to distract them. Rob McBride trying to get back to his feet. Not a quick matchup that we've seen on this show. But Rob McBride is still getting to his feet. George South knows how to work a match to make the most emotional impact. Look at here. George South, Rob McBride blocking it, going for another right hand, and another right hand, and George South is off his feet for the first time in this matchup.
Like a twitching carp, he just hit the ground just like that. I guess you could say, fool me once, fool me twice, maybe even fool the crowd 3 times, but this 4th time, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
George South going for a pin attempt right there. It looks like he had a low blow to McBride. The ref caught him trying to stack his legs up on that turnbuckle to get that extra leverage in the cover. But it looks like McBride, schoolboy roll-up right here. 1, 2, 3, and McBride beats George South. George South 0-2 on Midnight Mayhem. What is going on here? McBride is your winner in this matchup. George South is confused, befuddled even. Folks, coming up next, we have got a great matchup between Dawson, Maximus, and Matthews. You don't want to miss this. Stay tuned.
The man standing beside me, as you can see his helmet, we haven't really gotten to talk to Gluteus Maximus. He's been on our show multiple times, but I have never once spoken a word to Gluteus Maximus. Gluteus, what is your deal? You know Latin has been dead for over thousands of years.
It's Roman, not Latin. But a matter of fact, the great Caesar Augustus was upon us in a dire need as of right now, especially in North Carolina. Wrestling is a dying art. Greco-Roman wrestling, the real lamb chop of wrestling right here. I know how this is gonna be. I'm gonna be the next champion in North Carolina. I'm gonna be the winner in North Carolina, and there's nothing any of these punks, any of these redneck Peckerwoods can do about it. What are you wearing?
To gustibus non est disputantem. There are no accounts for taste.
Welcome back to Midnight Mayhem. We're starting this match on media res, Keith, in the middle of things. Gluteus Maximus taking it to Dave Dawson right now. Gluteus Maximus, a Roman centurion. Dave Dawson, an American centurion. Also the brother of Zane Dawson. And right there, Scotty Matthews, a man that we've seen on Midnight Mayhem before. These three men are in a war, and all three men para bellum, preparing for war.
I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of Latin considering Gluteus Maximus has made his way back on to Midnight. And what a hit from Scotty Matthews right to the back of Dave Dawson.
Folks, you saw it, and Scotty Matthews going straight back to the solar plexus of Gluteus Maximus, going for the cover right now. You saw Gluteus Maximus. Gluteus Maximus is pretty exciting in the ring sometimes. He had a Japanese arm drag earlier, a big splash, and now he's going straight for the chin of Scotty Matthews. Looks like Dave Dawson's going to break up that pin attempt right there. Folks, in this matchup, we are going to see some exciting things, and I am going to be the Vox Populi. And Keith, you are going to be the Vox Nihili. Do you know what that means?
The good-looking fella, I think, is the Vox Nihili, if I know Latin at all.
No. That means that I am the voice of the people, and you are the voice of nothing.
Well, thanks, Aaron Varnum, and don't let the size of these guys confuse you. These are pretty spry fellas for their size. Like that splash right there to Gluteus Maximus.
Gluteus Maximus taking a dive right there. Dave Dawson going straight back, trying to go for a pin attempt, hooking the leg. Only a 2 count, broken up by Scotty Matthews. Scotty Matthews is an Ophidia in Herba, a snake in the grass, just waiting for his opportunity. And right now I'm seeing some interesting maneuvers right now. Looks like Scotty Matthews going for a snap suplex, hooking that. It was a fisherman's suplex, perhaps.
That was quite a move. The most confusing part about these 1v1v1s is that even if you're pinning someone, you still have to keep an eye out for that other man.
You got to have an eye to the back, an eye to the front. Dave Dawson with a beautiful drop kick. Scotty Matthews down. And it looks like Dave Dawson now going to cover Scotty Matthews. Perhaps broken up by the one, the only Gluteus Maximus.
This is very exciting. These three gentlemen giving you a show tonight on Midnight Mayhem.
Did you see that drop from Gluteus Maximus? That would hurt ad capite ad calcum from head to heel, Keith.
Thank you for the Latin, my friend Aaron Varnum. Right now we got Gluteus Maximus going for Scotty Matthews in the corner. Scotty Matthews taking the full frontal force of Mr. Gluteus Maximus.
Look at that, gaining all that momentum. Scotty Matthews falling down right there, feeling all the pain of all the many years of Roman supremacy. And it looks like he's going straight back for the leg of Scotty Matthews. Look, maybe ripping the heel, the foot. If you don't have a nice calcum heel, you're not gonna be able to stand up straight.
Absolutely. And you know, the Romans were such great victors in battle is because they were tacticians. And I'd like to think that Gluteus Maximus in this match tonight is going to be a tactician.
He is taking it to Scotty Matthews. Matthews had a few blows to the face, and it looks like, oh, yeah, there we go. A nice chop from the one, the only Gluteus Maximus. Dave Dawson outside the ring. Another chop from Maximus. Maybe going for another one right there. Matthews, too quick. Matthews with a taste of his own medicine right there, giving it back to Gluteus Maximus. A snapmare takedown and a big punt to the back, and he is off the ropes, and a knee to the face to Maximus. Going for the pin. 1, 2, and Scotty Matthews not able to hold down the big man. Here comes the real big man right now. Dave Dawson coming in, grabbing Matthews by the ears, and it looks like he is going to be ripping some ears off the heads of people right now. Throwing him off the ropes. Matthews under. Matthews going for a crossbody. Dave Dawson catching him. Look at that fall away slam. And Dave Dawson solo dolo right there in the middle of the ring. And here comes Gluteus Maximus.
Sorry I've been so quiet before, but like I said, we got mythology, we have Latin, and we have Greek culture, so it's not far to talk about mythology. We have some titans here tonight in the ring. You can see every time they take a hit, a bump, they are rocking that ring.
Folks, if you want to see these titans more often, go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Midnight Mayhem CW21. We're on episode 98. 2 more episodes, and we are hitting the big 100.
Triple digits.
Triple digits of mayhem. June 14th, the 100th episode of Midnight Mayhem. That's 1 hour. 1 hour of mayhem. He's throwing, Maximus just threw Dave Dawson out the ring. Ubi Sunt, where are they?
Oh, Latin for Ubi. Okay, I got you. I'm with it now.
Ubi Sunt, where are they? Ubi, where? Sunt, they. Keith, get with it. They are outside the ring. Folks, this is happening outside. Dissectia membra. There's scattered limbs everywhere. That is from the great poet Horace.
There is just too much culture in this episode tonight. Too much Latin. I am not following it at all. I'm sorry.
God, I am so glad I took 4 years of Latin in high school because my mom always said, Aaron, that's not going to take you anywhere. And it looks like Dave Dawson has got a chain right now, much like his brother Zane Dawson. We have seen both Dawson boys use chains to get themselves ahead in this matchup. Look at these fans anxiously awaiting what's going on. It's going on outside the ring, and it's pretty interesting right now.
We got Dave Dawson with the chain, just been hit in the face by Gluteus Maximus, a nice elbow to the head to get him off. And let me just bring up that Dave Dawson is the brother of the feared, the man that brings me to shake in fear, Zane Dawson.
Yes, that's correct. Zane Dawson, the most evil bully that we have on this show, he is that man's brother. He is out of the womb a mere 10 seconds before Dave Dawson, the evil older brother on Midnight Mayhem. These two men, it always seems that Dave Dawson was always trying to, try to make a name for himself, but Zayn always thought that he was trying to ride the heels, and it looks like Maximus with the helmet, and he just got avoided right there, thrown out the ring, and both of these men outside taking on Maximus now that he tried to use that helmet.
So I gotta ask, are there any rules to this triple threat match?
Well, of course there's rules. I think we can use foreign objects. I think that's fine. But there, of course, you can't stay outside the ring that long. There is a 10 count. So these men need to get their moves in, get back in the ring if they want to win. And it looks like this fan is getting in the face of Scotty Matthews.
When in Rome, hit Gluteus Maximus, I think is the motto of this man outside of the ring.
They are both going at it. They are outside the ring. It is insanity here on Midnight Mayhem. It is mayhem on Midnight Mayhem. And they're just going outside the ring. The referee's still counting. And I think the referee just called the match because it was over a 10 count. It's a triple count out here on Midnight Mayhem. And it's insanity outside. Bedlam.
Helter Skelter tonight on Midnight Mayhem.
What are you doing? Dave Dawson just throwing Matthews against the guardrail. And it looks like Dave Dawson going, what is Dawson doing now? Going straight out to Gluteus Maximus. Maximus getting punched in the face. And here comes Scotty Matthews.
From atop of the bar is what it looks like, on top of Dave Dawson.
Folks, I don't know what's going on. It is madness out here. And it looks like some interesting things are going on. Scotty Matthews maybe going for a suplex right here. Oh, no. Maximus reversed it. Bodies strewn everywhere. Dave Dawson, this is not a match anymore. This is a fight. A very stiff punch to the face of Dave Dawson and just slapping him. Folks, I don't know if we're going to be able to finish what's going on here. This mayhem outside the ring. It looks like our time limit on our television show is starting to... What is Gluteus doing out here? Looks like we're going to have to cut this off short here in a few seconds. Because, folks, we've only got 30 minutes tonight. But tune back in June 14th. We've got a full hour of Midnight Mayhem. We would have been able to finish this.
So come in on June 14th. We got the 100th episode. It's going to be a 1 hour special.
Folks, this is madness. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching Midnight Mayhem.
The training of these poor creatures to turn themselves into fighting machines is simply barbaric. 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 Let that word resound